Adam, I want to start things off here with, listen, every now and then we get some drama in the industry. Most of the time we're reporting news. Most of the time we're reporting on things that, someone found along the way or actually some legislative stuff. But every now and then there's just some a good old fashioned tussle. And we got some craziness going on right now.
When I tell you, Matthew, that this is one of the most stunning stories that I have ever read, not just in the sports betting business, but in any business that I've covered, there is no exaggeration to that. Full credit to AJ Perez at Front Office Sports as the first one upon this. Here's the gist of this story if you have not been following. And if you have not been following, I suggest going to Legal Sports Report right now and reading through this entire story, because we've read through the 49-page civil complaint filed by DraftKings so that you don't have to. And we've put together some of the highlights, which I must tell you encompass a lot of the 49 pages of this complaint. But here's the long and short of it. The head of VIP operations for DraftKings is accused by DraftKings of a year-long plot to steal confidential secrets, business plans, and employees to go to Fanatics Sportsbook and basically take all of those clients and plans and use it to not only hurt DraftKings, but of course to benefit Fanatics Sportsbook. The contacts that are listed by DraftKings go back to the last Super Bowl, and the resignation of Michael Hermelin, the man at the center of this, happened on February 1st, which DraftKings claims was specifically timed to hurt them right before the Super Bowl. That basically, that their head of VIP operations was going to take all of the clients, or at the very least give Fanatics the information about all of the high net worth VIP clients who wager millions upon millions of dollars with DraftKings, and bring them to Fanatics at the most inopportune time for any sportsbook to potentially have its VIP clients courted away from them. I cannot overstate the importance of this story, the level of subterfuge that is being accused by DraftKings. Now, we've seen Fanatics respond with a statement essentially saying that it's sour grapes. We'll see, because the story comes down to a number of things. First of all, clearly there's a non-compete in the contract that Michael Hermelin had at DraftKings. As the lawsuit discusses, he was paid millions of dollars to do that job. He also, according to the lawsuit, cooked up a scheme in which he went to DraftKings higher-ups and told them that he was being recruited by Fanatics and got a package of equity worth millions of dollars from DraftKings as a retention package, and solicited the same for other members of his team. It is also accused that on January 29th, he said that he had a death in his close circle and he needed to go attend services for that. It is accused in the lawsuit that he did not attend those services, that he actually traveled to the Fanatics offices in California, did a whirlwind tour in which he attempted to establish residency by signing a lease, by getting a driver's license, by registering to vote, among other things, for the purpose of trying to break the non-compete in California as opposed to Massachusetts, where DraftKings is, of course, headquartered and where it believes the law is enforceable. I will take a beat and a pause right there, because there's so much more to this story, including the fact that Hermelin was under investigation for workplace misconduct at DraftKings. That is listed in the civil complaint as well. It is alleged that part of the reason that he left on the timing that he did was that he was attempting to get away from the investigation into those allegations. So the story is what it is, Matt, and you can go to Legal Sports Report and check that out. But I think what we really need to focus on here is the idea of VIP operations and what they mean to any particular sportsbook in this industry right now, especially when we're talking about a brand new entity like Fanatics Sportsbook trying to get itself established, right? Trying to find a way to make its mark in the industry. and being able to essentially recruit the head of VIP operations from another sportsbook to bring him in, and the brazen, as accused in the suit, way of acquiring information from DraftKings that it's going about doing this. VIPs, if you don't know, and I'm gathering if you listen to this podcast, you might, but if you don't know, we are talking about not just tens of millions, but hundreds of millions of dollars wagered in any given year by high net worth clients. I've said it on the podcast 100 times. 90% of the revenue in the U.S. sports betting legal market comes from 10% of the players, and we are talking about not just the 10% of the players, we are talking about the 1% of the 10% of the players in this case. It's absolutely wild that something like this could potentially be going on in the world of VIP in sports betting.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you definitely know he had a non-compete in there. My guess would be the non-compete was for years. Yeah, I mean, like probably
12 months.
Yeah,
it was a 12-month non-compete. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, because that information and that stuff that he had access to and all that is just, I mean, as valuable in this industry as possibly anything that there is.
Matt, to your point, and the civil complaint filed by DraftKings in Massachusetts lays this out. There were certain presentations and PowerPoint decks that he accessed from the Fanatics offices in California, according to the geolocation data. Thousands of DraftKings employees, a total of 23 employees, had access rights to the information that was contained within these highly, highly confidential files.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I mean, that information, literally probably the most important information that a sportsbook holds, because as you mentioned, I mean, these are guys that if they were to leave and go to your competitor, I mean, it's a massive blow. I mean, it's just an incredibly, incredibly massive blow. So it is wild. You guys, he said, as Adam said, if you haven't read the story, just please go to legalsportsreport.com. There's more than we're able to talk about here. Just you can kind of get the nuts and the bolts, and it's still developing. There will be additions made to the story as well as things go on. But yeah, Adam, I mean, it's just, I don't think people really realize, just the VIP business of all of these different sports. And listen, it's not even sportsbook. There are VIPs in the online poker industry. There are VIPs in the daily fantasy part of it, and like these guys go out and they just make sure that these people feel special. I mean, like that's what they do. Their whole job is to go out and make sure that these people feel special. And as long as these people feel special, a lot of them are high net worth individuals to where it's play money anyway, right? Like it's like the stuff that they're betting and gambling with. It's more play money anyway. And all you really want for those guys is just to make them feel special, make them feel happy, make them feel loved, make them whatever, because at the end of the day, the money is inconsequential to the vast majority of them in all of this. And so it's a really, really important job and a really, really, really valuable client list and all of that. And so if this stuff turns out to be true, if this is proven in a court of law, which it seems like this is definitely going to be tried to be proven in a court of law, it's crazy. It really is. Like you said, it's just absolutely crazy. And where does Fanatics fit in all this too? That's even weirder part of it, probably.
Well, think about the history here, in which we know that Matt King was running FanDuel, which was, of course, A, the chief competitor to DraftKings, and then B, the potential merger partner of DraftKings, and then C, once again, the primary competitor to DraftKings. And then he went to head up Fanatics betting and gaming. And he is, of course, at the center of this case as well, even though he's not named in any of the documents. But we see another piece of this story in which a high-level VIP employee at DraftKings earlier in the year left to go to Fanatics, ostensibly to go work in the collectibles area of Fanatics. That was how he was getting around the non-compete. And yet it is alleged by DraftKings that employee ended up working in the gambling business of Fanatics. This has so many tentacles and so many little ways that you haven't even considered yet that it affects both businesses, that you got to read the story. The other piece that I think is worth noting here, Matt, is what you said about VIP. I mean, look, if you don't understand how this works, the VIP hosts that are assigned to these very high net worth clients, they are essentially valets for these people. They are out there, whether it is the Wynn in Las Vegas or whether it's DraftKings or anybody else, they are essentially there to make sure that these players have whatever it is they want. It might be Super Bowl tickets. It might be private reservations to that restaurant that you can't get in anywhere else. And if you work in the casinos in Las Vegas long enough, like I have, and Matt, like you know plenty of people who have, the stories get wilder from there. Yeah. So it is a business that is very lightly understood in the mass market, but certainly vital.
I can tell you this. This is not the last we've heard of this story. Like this one is going to be around for quite some time. Cannot wait to see how it all plays out.